Okay, I'm standing in front of the Pantry of Sin, top to bottom. It's a big mess. We're gonna knock it out quick. I wanted to let you know that I have prepared my mindset as well as my family members' mindset. As I mentioned, I have a 6-year-old, a 9-year-old, and then I have a 42-year-old. Just kidding, he's my husband. So I have 3 other people in the house that I am considering when I'm deciding if things should stay or go and what we should do with them. I have talked about cleaning out the pantry for a little while with my husband. He's an all-go kind of guy, so he's like, let's do it, let's get this crap out. And my kids, I talk about it with on and off, and we decide something should stay and something should go, but there is clearly way too much junk in here that's been in here for way too long. So it's time to get it out. So our mindset is good, our mindset is positive, we're ready for the change, and now it's time to get to work. Let's go. Okay, this is top to bottom. There's Easter candy. Yep, Easter candy. There's a bunch of crackers and breads and stuff because my kids are picky about breads. There's lunch bags that are kind of in the way of everything. Even you see that beignet mix that I got last summer when I went to New Orleans. Haven't used it. And all kinds of stuff from their kids' little protein bars. I mean, look at that crap. It's a hot mess, and it's embarrassing. But that's life, and there it is. This is the second cupboard where I put stuff that I cook and bake with. It's close to my stove, and as you see, it's got rice and quinoa and stuff like that up on that shelf. And then there's 2 ginormous things of spices that clearly need some decluttering. So this is the second shelf. If the other thing was called Pantry of Sin, I'm going to call this Spice Heaven. So that's Spice Heaven. This is the top shelf of my pantry. As you can see, the top shelf of the pantry focused on empty containers, which are useless there, so we're going to get rid of those. My daughter's snacks for school. Some bags of a superfood shake, too many bags. I need to go through and check the expiration date and see if they're actually worth keeping. Some baking things and lots of candy and sweets. This is from Halloween last year, so I'm actually going to throw all that out. Who knows how long those have been in there, so they're going to go in the trash. And this is like baking needs, and I'm going to go through that container and see what I can do there. A thing of trash too. Empty. The second shelf of Sin, these are the things that I decided to keep. I filled up the trash can off of those 2 shelves so far. These are the things that I'm having a little bit of a hard time letting go until I talk to the kids. I know that sounds silly. This is my one daughter's Easter candy. I think I might just let her take her last piece or 2 and then have her throw it out. This is some Kool-Aid that we bought to color their kids' hair last summer. We were going to do a hair coloring thing with Kool-Aid, and we decided against it, so I'm actually going to throw those away. That is a favorite around here. And then I don't know why I'm having a hard time getting rid of that, but that just means Christmas cookies to me, and I can buy it again at Christmas, so I'm going to throw that in the trash. The only thing I'm left with to discuss with my one daughter is this bag of candy. So as we got down to the 3rd row, it got a little more ugly. These are the things that we've decided to keep from the 3rd row. Not too bad of choices. Yes, there are some sprinkles in there, but everybody needs sprinkles for their cupcakes. And there's some miscellaneous items in there, some miscellaneous bars, a power mix, things like that. And applesauce, but we'll find their brothers and sisters here shortly, I have a feeling. Then here is the bunch of crap that we are going to throw out from this 3rd row. It is everything from, yes, another bag of brown sugar from Christmas cookies, I guess, to an old bag of Cheerios, some yucky sugar cereal that they came back from my mom's with, some old prunes, graham crackers, some old granola, and some pastas and stuff that we don't need. There's even some candy canes and that kind of stuff in there. Oh my gosh, this is heartbreaking though. Like even stuff like my kids like these individual peanut butters. Look how many peanut butters are there. They're gone. They're wasted. So, and a little smidge of whole wheat breadcrumbs. I buy those by the gallon, I think. So I'm going to throw that one out because I don't know how long it's been open. But anyway, a little more heartbreaking on the third shelf. Making improvements though. All of this, minus the containers and the little clips, are going in the trash. Adios. Alrighty, these are the fourth shelves keepers. You will see I have some kids snack bars and some yogurt covered raisins, kid little must-haves around here. I've got some beans, which I have a whole bunch of, and chickpeas, a whole bunch of out in the garage. I have some ranch dressing. It's not the best in the world, but it's the kind that my kids will eat, and when they want a little ranch, that's fine. I've got some chocolate syrup. Again, not the best, but it's the best with what we've got. And sometimes they like chocolate milk. I've got tons of tuna, spices galore, baking soda, some lime juice, and just some family-friendly options. Back here, I have a bunch of stuff that I'm throwing out. Some Annie's macaroni and cheese. It's still in there, but my kids just don't like it. Some old cookies from lunches when they used to pick one treat out of that little jar. A whole thing of pine nuts, which is heartbreaking because if we all know how expensive pine nuts are, they're yummy, and they went to waste because I couldn't find them in the messy third shelf, and just a bunch of other crap. So that's the stuff that is going in the trash. These are the things that I'm questioning or that I'm having a hard time with. Not the presses. They just went in the trash. But this beignet mix that I got from when I was in a trip to New Orleans last summer, I'm not sure what to do with it. They're a little too much to make, I feel like, but I feel like I should make them because I was trying to bring New Orleans to my home. So, oh my gosh, you know what I just opened? Realized they're expired. So they're going in the trash. And then this is my daughter's Easter candy. I'm going to give her one last go at it to take a couple pieces out of there, and then it's going to go in the trash. So that's the fourth shelf in a nutshell. You will see this is the stuff that I have kept from my other shelves, how much less it is, and I'm doing good. I'm almost done. Hang in there. This is the fifth shelf, contents. Okay. Over here you will see the things that we're keeping, including 2 boxes of these kid-friendly good protein bars that the kids like to eat if they need a snack before their after-school sports. Applesauce, yes, ketchup, we're keeping it. Some ghee, pumpkin, marinara, lots of diced tomatoes, 2 things of steel-cut oats, some peanuts, which are a good snack, and even a delicious organic brownie mix. These are the things we're throwing out. Again, gosh, I really didn't do a good job using seeds this year or nuts when I bought them. I also have a huge jar of artichokes, which would have been really good. Actually, a huge jar and a can, which would have been fantastic. Some honey mustard that my daughter really likes mustard on everything. Some snacks from, yes, Grammy's house or a Girl Scout camping adventure. Something that I bought to try but never did, and now the date's expired. And a whole box of these, which my kids just don't really like, so there's no sense keeping them. So that is going in the trash. Adios. Last little bit of keepers from the bottom of the pantry, the big stuff. A box of these Purely Simple bars, which I got for quick, if I have to donate a quick snack to school. Some cereals that my one picky child will eat. Wheat bread, some old-fashioned oats, 1 box of Girl Scout cookies. I will be donating the other 3. Some popcorn, Skinny Pop, that's it. This stuff is going in the trash. Yes, Halloween candy, oh my gosh. Open snacks that who knows how long they've been there. Cereal that my child doesn't like. Those are being donated. And I never made this sweet jar of cookies that Olivia's kindergarten teacher gave me, and she's now in 3rd grade. So I have loved it. I'm going to save the little writing off of it and maybe save the jar, but I think the contents can go bye-bye. So that's it for the bottom of the pantry. This is the top shelf of my cabinet. I've got two piles here. Piles to keep, which looks pretty good. It's everything from different types of rice, spaghetti, couscous, and about a half a dozen different types of quinoa and rice blends. And then here's the stuff that I'm gonna throw away. It's either expired, which makes me sad because it's hemp hearts that I never used, chia seeds that I never used, some old yucky rice, that's fine, and some individual rice things that are fun if you need it, and stuffing, which has a best if used date by 2010. Oh my God, it's mortifying. Anyway, that's the shizzle there. Those are my keepers. I'm actually gonna add those to my pantry because I have so much room now that I've cleaned it out. So stay tuned. Here are my second shelf spices and things that I'm gonna keep. Some green tea, some guacamole mix that I bought, but I make fresh guacamole now, so I don't really need it. So I'm gonna see if I can give that to somebody. Some matcha, some turmeric root, yeast seasoning, some stuff for kids' projects, slime projects, and some different peppers. And you gotta have Old Bay if you live on the East Coast. And this is a bunch of throwaways over here. And as you can tell, Lucy says, throw that away, don't you, Lou? All right, that's the second cabinet shelf done. Bottom shelf of my spice cabinet. These are the spices that I'm keeping. Okay, the many different oils that I have, different vinegars. My favorite spices here are these Flavor God spices, different types of honey, extracts, lentils and beans. They'll go in the pantry. And these are the spices that I'm keeping. These are all the things that I'm throwing out. It's unbelievable. I hate this thing, so there's no sense keeping that. These are seeds for the outside of something. I can't even remember what they were for. And all of these bazillion spices. Look at all these things I'm throwing out. Before I started making my own spices and combining my own spices, I used salt-free Mrs. Dash, which is really good, but it's time for it to go bye-byes. I've got a whole safflower oil that I'm throwing out. Some old organic taco seasoning, because I make my own now. And a misto bottle that drives me crazy to clean it, so I'm not using that sucker anymore. Anyway, those are my keepers from the bottom shelf. And those are the throwawayers. Hey, Coach Jenna, coming at you after our pantry craziness. And I wanted to share with you all of the things that I learned through this experience. So I have a list of about 10 things that I noticed throughout this experience, and I wanted to share them with you. First of all, I want to let you know, and I talked about this in the beginning of our video, about the mindset. I was undoing basically our whole pantry in our house, and as you saw, our pantry is not that big. It is one door wide. and it's, maybe 2 feet deep or whatever. It's not a lot, but you could not believe the amount of insanity that was in there. And I tried to like rewind and think about when the last time it was that I actually cleaned the pantry, and I realized it has been quite a while. It was probably before Halloween last year. So that has had a great opportunity for a lot of junk to come in through all of the holidays, through Halloween, Christmas, Valentine's Day, Easter, you name it, sugary sweet stuff bombarded my stinking cabinet. So I did prepare my children and my husband that I was going to be doing this. I started talking about it at the beginning of last week, and talking about to the kids about what were healthy choices, what things we should keep, what things should go. They are very educated in that department, but they still are 6 and 9, so they still want to keep as many sweets as they can. My husband was very on board, which is great. So given the opportunity to do this, it gave me a chance to really release a lot of the crap that was in our pantry, throw it out and make room for good stuff, as well as just cleaning up the clutter. I learned most importantly that if you can't see it, you can't eat it. And if things are too cluttered, it makes an overwhelming a feeling of just nutrition mess, right? So there was so much stuff in my cabinet and in my pantry, as you saw. It was like opening the cabinet of doom and going, oh my gosh, like what am I going to eat? Ugh, nothing from in there, because it was so overwhelming. So the criteria that I used to decide whether I was going to keep, discard, whatever, first of all, I threw out everything that was expired. And as you saw from my video, there was a ton of stuff that was expired. Some really, really expired. The second thing is I decided to keep some kid things that maybe you might not think would be in my cabinet, like chocolate syrup or a couple of sweets for the kids, some of their Easter candy. I decided to keep and let them monitor, take a couple pieces out and throw the rest out. I wanted them to have some accountability and some, decision making in this whole thing. I also had to let go of some things that I wasn't prepared or sure about. I let go of simply 2 big bags of brown sugar that I don't care about brown sugar, but they symbolized Christmas cookies to me, and my mom brought them to me to make Christmas cookies, and so I just didn't have the heart to throw them out. I decided to let those go, and if I need brown sugar to make Christmas cookies this year, guess what? I'll go buy some. It's not a big deal. It's just a great way to get that stuff out of there. It was a very interesting experience to go through this kitchen. I noticed that I was very willing and ready and able to do that, which is really important. And it's a thing that I talk with a lot of my clients about. Are they ready, willing, and able to do this? Or are they giving me some resistance? And I was really ready, and I was really willing, and I was really able. So it made it really easy for the most part to throw a bunch of stuff in the trash that I knew I didn't want. I did notice, like I said, the resistance about the brown sugar, but that was it, and I quickly moved on. I found that as I went down shelf by shelf in the pantry, I kept having a lighter feeling, and every shelf it got easier and easier and easier. And then while I was heartbroken throwing some things out, like I had a lot of seeds and pine nuts and things that were actually healthy choices, but that were expired because I couldn't see them. So I think that's a good example of shaping the path. If I had a better, clearer pantry in there, I could have seen those wonderfully delicious and nutritious things and used them, but instead they went to waste. So that's another lesson I learned. I really realized that there are some red light foods in that cabinet. Number one, the red light foods for my children, of course, is candy and sweets. And the less that's in there, the less choices they have. I kept a very small container of sweets that might not be bad to have every once in a while, but something that you don't want to have every single day. I noticed a lot of delicious options in the cabinet that I did. The cabinet that was my spice cabinet, I'm happy to be looking at it right now. I noticed that I had a lot of wonderful choices for healthy carbohydrates in there, and that I didn't use them that much because they were kind of out of the way of, they were on the top, like on a third shelf, which is something that I had to kind of step up and reach into. So I actually put those in the pantry next to my healthy pastas and stuff that I have in there for the kids. Kind of made a whole new spice cabinet, which is wonderful. Threw out a ton of old spices there. I did realize that the priorities for the pantry, the main people that use the pantry are my children. And because of that, I need to put the healthiest options at eye level for them. Some of the healthier options were too low, so they weren't looking at it when they would open up the door, so they were just kind of glossing over. They open up the cabinet, they look straight ahead, and what they can see is what they're going to eat. So I put the healthiest pantry items, kid-friendly items at eye level for them. I noticed that the priority of the pantry is to store these dry items. Many times the things are processed. I don't store hardly any produce in there. I do need to re-up my my onions and my sweet potatoes, which I will put in storage containers and put back in there. I have regular potatoes in there now, and that's the only vegetable that I have in the pantry. The rest are in the fridge or on the counter. I also noticed that I can certainly declutter more often than I do. I put an alarm on my phone already for the first of the month to take 5 minutes and throw out crap from the pantry, so that felt really, really good. It's gonna kind of hopefully help keep me ahead of the game with this pantry mess. I realized that I have a great opportunity to involve the kids in this experience before and after, even if they're not here when I'm actually doing it, which is a little bit helpful. I have to say, as the mom, I might have had a little bit more resistance if the kids had been here yesterday when I was throwing out things, but because we talked about kind of things that we were going to keep and things that we were going to let go beforehand, when they came home from school yesterday and they opened up the pantry, they're like, "Mom, this looks great." Not one complaint about things that were thrown away because they weren't here when I did it. So that was kind of nice. I did give them a chance to revisit their Easter candy, take a couple of pieces, and then we chucked that too. So that was great. Let's see. I have a few spices that I need to buy because they were expired. Ground mustard. I want to rebuy some cocoa powder too, and some chicken broth. So I didn't really have to restock too much of my pantry because I had a lot of wonderful healthy choices in there. They were just things that I couldn't see. Let's see, what else? I think that you can probably tell by my before and after photos and video that I showed earlier what a tremendous difference it makes, and my happiness factor in the kitchen has already gone up because I can find the stuff that I want. So when I open the cabinet and I can see, oh my gosh, this is what I have, it makes me so much happier rather than opening it up and trying to sift through stuff in order to find it. So I do think that that helped shape the path for healthier eating and cooking in the Holden kitchen. I think there's room for improvement in everybody's pantry. I would highly suggest this experience for anybody. I think it was very valuable for me to record the whole progression of it. It not only made me accountable, it gave me something to reflect on, and I kind of talked aloud as I made some decisions rather than just talking in my head, which made more sense to me, and it helped me kind of revisit my goals with my health, as well as the health of my family, which is near and dear to my heart. All right, I think that's about it, but thank you for walking on this journey with me. I am super excited to share this video with anybody that feels like they might benefit from a pantry clean out, and show you that even us health coaches and certified nutrition counselors, we can have some messed up pantries, but you can always, always, always revisit it, change it, and make it better. All right, signing off for now, Coach Jenna. Bye-bye.